Hello, it's me, Pavlo, and here is your emotionally boosted daily dose of Ukrainian accent. Today we are going to talk about interesting and pretty unique audio device. It's iBasso PB6 and it's a pure portable headphone amplifier. It doesn't have a built-in deck and it's a rare thing nowadays. Like 10 years ago or so, portable amplifiers were pretty popular. And later they were mostly swept by deck amps because often it's more convenient to have all-in-one device. So I was wondering what is the purpose of pure amplifier nowadays, but I decided to test this device, and during the tests I understood its role, and as usual I will tell you my thoughts at the end of this review. Meanwhile, it's worth mentioning that it's a balanced construction, with Raytheon Gen mini tubes, and as usual you getting a few different modes and amplification regimes, and the price is $500. It's capable of delivering up to 2.3 watts from the balanced output, and with all that technical specifications, let's proceed to the review. Package and unboxing experience of PB6 is pretty close to D17. We have this pristine white outer cardboard box with no information besides the model name and some barcode printed on it. And inside you get a nice Fox leather case, really pleasant and soft to touch, but gathering a bit fingerprints. And inside you'll get bunch of pouches with all contents. So in the biggest one, unsurprisingly, you're getting PB6 itself, also manual, warranty card. So you also get 12 volts power adapter for external power supply with matching plug, and also you getting a bunch of different cables. So USB Type-C to Type-A, but it's mainly for charging, but still a pretty decent cable anyway. And also you're getting two really nice soft interconnect cables, 3.5 millimeter and balanced Pentacon. Both have pretty heavy solid connectors and super soft cables. Design is pretty simple and almost minimalistic. Case mainly made of metal, nice silver color with interesting polish and texture, a bit of DIY vibe with visible screws, and also it extends a little bit towards this end to incorporate this imitation of hinges for the rack mount. They don't have any particular role, but spice up design a little bit. Also here is a window to see all four tubes beneath it, and the back panel is made of metal, so it makes a lot of sense to get some case for it, or at least some self-gluing rubber fits like made by 3M, for example. On the bottom we have separate DC input, then USB Type-C for charging with two LED indicators. And speaking about charging, it works about 13 hours in the AB mode and about 9 in the tube mode. That's what I've got on low gain. On high gain you'll get a bit less, but still pretty nice work time for such a powerful device. Then gain switch, be careful with it. Bandwidth switch, it changes sound a little bit. I will talk about it a bit later. And also tube and AB mode, so tube and solid state toggle. On top you getting volume knob, also it works as an on-off switch, and inputs and outputs, single-ended and balanced. So everything is pretty straightforward here. Just connect to your deck or player to the input and connect headphones to the output, set the volume, and it's working. And I'm not sure are tubes visible on video or not, but there is a bit of glow behind this window that makes everything a bit more interesting. But of course, the most interesting part is the sound. You have two toggles that changes aspects of the sound, and overall it gives you 4 different combinations. So first toggle is that bandwidth, low and high, and basically it impacts dynamics. In the high mode, you're getting slightly more highlight on emotions and slightly highlighted transients. And in the low mode, the sound is slightly calmer and a bit more relaxed. And also you getting tube and AB mode, and basically you can already guess what this modes give you. AB mode is all about neutrality, and tube mode is more about this softness, warmth, and coloring. And actually, in my opinion, tube mode here has more sense, because AB mode is really useful if you want to use some hard to drive headphones, and in this case, of course, PB6 does great job. It's pretty natural and just gives you extra power to drive even power hungry cans. And in the tube mode, it works as a beautiful softener of the sound and beautiful sound enrichment device, because it highlights harmonics, makes sound more fluid, more musical, and more enjoyable. But let's talk about everything step by step. Bass goes to the maximum depth. In the AB mode, it's fast, precise, heavy hitting, absolutely tight, and spot on. It gives you great texturing, superb amount of small nuances, and almost have no coloring, just what is in the record. It represents and boosts and highlights, giving you absolute control over low frequencies. In the tube mode, you're getting slightly less focus on these small nuances, but instead a bit of extra weight, but it's done really accurately, not like sloppy, overly warm bass or something like that. You're still getting nice precision, but at the same time a bit more body and accents on the low frequency instruments. And as for examples, let me get it. First one is Cándido Arcason, and it's instrumental with lot of interesting percussions that goes in the low frequencies, and this amplifier in the AB mode just represents them perfectly as is. And Quando by Musica Nuda, live version, and it's a perfect contrast of double bass and vocal, and here tube mode gives more weight to the double bass, gives more presence, gives more sense of deck and resonance, and makes it even more pleasant. Mid frequencies are natural in the AB mode with great execution, with great balance between details and realism, not going too far into dry monitoring, but when necessary, representing every single nuance. In the AB mode, it's pretty critical for the quality of records, especially in the high bandwidth mode, because it requires perfectly recorded material. If you want slightly less critical experience, but still maintaining neutrality, you can select low bandwidth, and sound became a bit more polite, giving slightly more space for errors in the record. And in the tube mode, you're getting more velvety vocal, more body, more presence, and more sense of immersion into track. track, and it's a really magical and interesting experience. Imaginary stage is stellar. It's really big, spacious in both dimensions, but basically it's what you expect from the good amplifier. And of course, in the tube mode, it will be slightly smaller and more intimate with vocals moved forward. And in the AB mode, it will be more neutral. And examples will be, first one is Above All by Newsted. It's heavy, slightly dirty recorded track with a lot of grease in the bass and forward dominating drums, aggressive guitars, and the tube mode actually makes it even more weighty, slightly warmer, but I really enjoy this boost in this sense of power and aggression that it gives. And Pink Floyd, Welcome to the Machine, AB mode with its huge stage really immerses you into this track with all that effects and gives you all small nuances here. High frequencies are equally magnificent in both modes, and the main difference between AB and tube mode is the amount of energy put in the treble area. Because in both modes, high frequencies are really extended with proper attacks and decays, superb overtone saturation, and really nice layering. But in the AB mode, you're getting slightly more focus on the airness and spaciousness. In the tube mode, it's slightly softer, but still you're getting all that nuances and what is really important, layering. Because often when you reduce amount of energy in the high frequencies, when you make them softer, you're losing that layering and you're losing that separation of the instruments overtones in the highest high frequencies, but not in this case. Both modes are really performing perfectly, but it's just a matter of what you prefer, and sometimes I toggle this mode even between two tracks. And first example is YYZ by Rush, and here I prefer AB mode because I want to get this tinkle, I want to get this highlight at the intro section, I want all nuances of the percussion highlighted and boosted here. And for the Desert Rose by Sting, I prefer tube mode because it's a more modern production track with slightly less attention to the high frequencies, but still sounding pretty nice. And here putting a bit less emphasis in terms of energy, but still getting all that nuances that tube modes give to you is really worth type of exchange that makes this track really shine. In terms of pairings, it's also pretty versatile device. On one hand, it gives you surprisingly black background. Honestly, I didn't expect such a good performance with sensitive IEMs as PB6 gives. And on the other hand, with external 12 volts, you can get 2.3 watts of power from the balanced output, and that's more than enough for almost all existing headphones on the market. I've seen that someone mentioned even Suswara, and said that it also works nice with PB6. I didn't test, but high impedance headphones is absolutely not a problem for it. And the interesting question, who is this device made for? So first use case and scenario is when you have some nice player, for example, or some deck, and you want to get more power for some power-hungry planars or high impedance full-size headphones. Then you just add the PB6 into the mix, and it just do what you can expect. But even more interesting and more exciting scenario for me is that tube warming and coloration part. And in the tube mode, it makes a lot of sense for me, even with players like DX340, which already has nice amplifiers. It has its own module with tubes and stuff like that. But here you're getting more mature variant of this tube coloration, and you're getting even more of this exciting warmer analog type of sound. So basically for me, first and main usage of this device is that tube colorator, and in this role it makes sense even with expensive players, decks, and things like that. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a great day.